Welcome to the Sunbird Sports Show with Paul Meadors. Brought to you by Fresno Pacific University on 790 ESPN.
Absolutely. Welcome to the Sunbird Sports Show on 790 ESPN. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm your host, Paul Meadors, live here from the ESPN studio on Palm Avenue across from Bullard High School. We are here every Wednesday night from 6 to 7, shining a spotlight on Fresno Pacific University athletics. All past episodes, you guys can check them out on all the places where you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, YouTube as well. Well, this week, it's kind of an interesting show. I'm really excited about this. We're going to have numerous guests from the cheer program at Fresno Pacific University. I think a lot of people out there have misconceptions about the cheer program. So we're going to talk about all that encompasses it. And believe it or not, guys, they just don't cheer at games. They just don't cheer at basketball games. They have competitions. In fact, they just placed fourth a couple weeks ago at one of the most prestigious events. We're going to talk about that and more. The first segment is going to feature now former coach Rayna Harris, along with senior Jaslin Saephanh. She's from Sanger, and sophomore Jahayra Romero. She is from Madera, California. A little bit about Rayna Harris. She is an FPU Cheer alum and the current director of community life here on campus. She took over the program 7 years ago and has transformed into a highly competitive squad. As of today, she has stepped down from her coaching role, but is going to continue in her other role at FPU. Replacing Rayna is Devin, Balbach. She's going to come in for segment number 2. She's been tasked with taking over the cheer and spirit program. She is really excited about this opportunity. She joins FPU after 12 years at Clovis North. In fact, her first official day was on March 3rd. All right, we're going to recap what's been going on at Fresno Pacific University athletics. The winter sports are winding down right now. We're going to be springing into spring. Actually, a lot of spring sports have started, so we're excited to talk about that. Well, men's tennis, they opened a week of Sunbird action with a solid performance against Fresno City in an exhibition match. Baseball, they played a 3-game series against number 7 Cal State Monterey Bay. Took a bit of a walloping despite solid efforts from the Birds batting. The Otters prevailed on both Friday and a doubleheader on Saturday. Men's and women's basketball hosted Vanguard on Thursday. Both teams lost to the Lions, but on Saturday, despite a women's loss to Dominican, the men beat the Penguins 71-69. Huge win for them because that secured their spot in the 2026 Pac West Basketball Championship Tournament being played this week in San Diego. Junior Seth Brown led the way for the Sunbirds, totaling 21 points. Not only did Seth earn Raising Cane's Sunbird of the Week, but he is also leading the conference in 3-point field goals per game, as well as third in the conference in free throw percentage, and he notched a Pac West second-team selection, along with senior Isaac Peralta, who earned a third-team All-Pac West honor. Lastly, at the Chico State Multi-Event Classic, a Sunbird trio of multi-event athletes all roared to personal bests in the 2-day competition on Friday and Saturday. Sophomore Caitlin Downing broke the 4,000-point barrier. Senior and Buchanan local Jackson Paramo, who I'm looking at right now, who's helping out, he's shaking his head, a little embarrassed. We might hear from him later in the show. We have to after mentioning him in the opener, right? He captured a runner-up finish. Sophomore Clara Wagner took the crown with a grand total of 4,517 points. I don't even know what that means. I guess why I got to ask Jackson to come on and explain what all those points means. Paramo's efforts netted him an NCAA provisional mark and bumped him up to a spot to 7th all-time at Fresno Pacific. Wagner's efforts earned her 5th all-time in the heptathlon at Fresno Pacific, including 100-meter hurdles, PR that is 9th all-time in school history, and a massive long jump PR that is now 8th all-time in school history. Wagner is also currently leading the nation in the heptathlon. So, of course, she is our Raising Cane's Sunbird of the Week. All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. We're going to bring on some members of the cheer team and a former coach, Rayna Harris. You're listening to the Sunbird Sports Show on 790 ESPN.
Now, welcome back to the Sunbird Sports Show with Paul Meadors on 790 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Sunbird Sports Show on 790 ESPN. So we got Fresno Pacific Cheer in the house right now. We have Rayna Harris. Kind of weird saying former coach, right?
It is.
Is that weird for you?
It is a little bit weird, yeah.
So we're gonna talk old Fresno Pacific Cheer and new Fresno Pacific Cheer right now. And then Jaslin Saephanh, she is from Sanger, and she is a senior and sophomore. Jahayra Romero. Jahayra. There you go. See, I already screwed it up. We talked about it off air. All right, Jahayra Romero, and she is from Madera, and she made sure to tell me that she is from Matilda Torres High School, not Madera. You're not a Coyote.
No.
Right? Okay, good stuff. All right, welcome to the show. You guys excited to be here?
Yeah.
A little nervous, but you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, it's just having a conversation. So just walk us through, like, your day in the life of a Fresno Pacific University student today. Jaslin, why don't you start? Since you're the senior, what'd you do when you woke up? What classes did you take? And did you do any activity?
So this morning when I woke up at 7 in the morning, and I stayed in bed, and I was contemplating if I should go to school. But it won, so I went to school. I also had work in the morning. I had work at 8 in the morning. And then after I got off, I had a little bit of a gap. I did some homework, and then I had class. I had child disabilities. And after that class ended, I came here. So.
All right, that sounds like a good day. All right, so you're going to graduate this year? Are you on track to graduate?
Yes, I'm on track to graduate in May, so I'm really excited about that.
Early, too. She did it in 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
That,
Overachiever.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are you graduating with, and what are you hoping to do in the real world?
I'm graduating with my bachelor's in psychology, and I'm looking to get into like ABA therapy, like play-based therapy with kids with autism.
Perfect. That is awesome. We need more people like you. That's amazing. I'm in education too, so keep going. All right, Jahayra, what about you today? Walk us through your day.
So I am a commuter. I am from Madera Lakes. So if anyone knows, that is kind of far out in the lakes. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning today to get ready to go to work. I leave my house at 6:40 to be at work by 8 in the morning. I had a shift from 8 a.m. all the way till 3, and a little bit of a gap between there, like a 1 hour gap before my class at 4:15, which is religions, health, and healing. And I had a midterm in that class, and then from there I came straight here.
Pretty busy day.
Yes.
And when you leave that early from Madera to Fresno, you're beating the traffic, right? No traffic in the morning, or a little bit?
There's a lot of traffic.
You're leaving at 6:40 and there's still traffic?
Yes.
Boo. Is it there on 41? Coming in
99.
on 90. Yes, 99 is horrible. I know all about 99. Don't get me started on 99. I hate that freeway. All right. Rayna, how about you? Same question for you.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day. Can't complain. Just worked today. Started my day with chapel on Wednesdays. You know, FPU has chapel, so lucky to be able to go there this morning. And then just had a couple student meetings, had a handful of meetings, and put stuff away. I get to oversee activities and some fun things. So it was a fairly normal, just kind of active day.
A normal Wednesday.
A normal Wednesday.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, I want to talk about, we're going to get into a lot of stuff here, but I want to talk about the showing at the USA, meaning the United Spirit Association Collegiate Championships at the Anaheim Convention Center. Was it like in the middle of the week? Was it like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday deal?
So the whole competition runs that whole midweek through the next week, because they do their junior high, their high school, their dance, everybody all that same weekend. But the college section is Saturday, Sunday. So we were Saturday.
You were Saturday?
That was our day. Yeah.
All right.
But it's a whole deal. Yep.
I heard it was a really good deal.
Yeah, it
for
was.
you guys.
It was a good deal
You
for
guys
us.
placed fourth.
We did.
Right. So Rayna, just kind of walk us through like what that event entailed, how excited you were, what the routine was like, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it was. We were super excited. We had a really good showing. I was really proud of the team. We compete in the game day division. We've done that the past few years. We really like that division, and it's a tough division though, because they don't separate it by school size or co-ed or team size or anything like that. So to place fourth out of 12 incredible teams, we were really, really thankful for that. We knew before awards, like, we were really proud of what we did, and we were really happy with our routine. We felt good. We executed well. They had really good energy on the mat. And And so then to bring home fourth was great.
So what other schools were there? Did I read COS was there?
COS was there. Yes, COS is awesome. They're an incredible program. They were there, and then there's schools all over the place. A lot of the California schools, Hope International was there. They did great. University of Idaho placed in our division as well. Western Washington. So kind of up and down the coast, lots of schools. Cal Poly Pomona, schools, all sorts of schools like that.
So you said different divisions. So is there 12 schools were in your division?
Correct.
What do the other divisions look like?
Yeah, the other, what do you mean?
Were there Division I schools?
Yes,
Fresno State was
yep.
there. Was
Yep.
Stanford there?
Yeah, the way that game day works, our routine style, the division that we went into doesn't separate it by Division I. So we were up against Division I's, junior colleges, co-ed teams, non-co-ed teams, D2, D3 schools. So yeah, the way that game day works, it throws everyone together. So all 12 schools, which are made up from all types of colleges, universities.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long was the routine? Just kind of maybe go into some fun specifics about your performance.
Yeah, our routine is a minute long. With the routine we placed in was our situational sideline cheer, and it's great. The way that routine works is they start out, they want it to see it like a game day. They want it to be as true to how well you can lead a crowd as possible. And so the girls take the floor and they're read a situation. They're actually read a football scenario, which is kind of funny because obviously we don't have football. But we know lots about how to respond to football scenarios. And they're read a scenario and they have to respond with either an offense or defense cheer. So we have both of those things prepared and they respond. And yeah, we loved our routine. It's fun. I feel like game day is fun. You get to incorporate all the crowd leading, the skills, still stunts, tumbling, jumps, things like that. But the whole point of it is to engage the crowd. And that's what the judges look for is, can you engage a crowd? Are you engaging? And so for a team our size of 15 to be able to fill all 9 panels and engage a crowd really well, they did just that. And it was awesome.
And that's why you got fourth.
Yeah.
All right. Jaslin, can you just kind of walk us through what your emotions and how you felt during the event, or maybe even before the event and definitely after the event?
Yeah, I was feeling a lot of emotions. I think it was kind of surreal until the end, but I think it was very bittersweet. I also think it's really great that I also get to end my season with Rayna. Rayna and our seasons are both ending, so that was really sweet to me. I think it was just amazing to end off in such a good placement for our cheer team because we got third last year, we got fourth this year, so we made top 6 out of 12 schools, and I think that was just amazing, especially because of the teams we go up against. They're usually 2 to 3 times our size. So just with our small team, I think we made a really big impact.
That's awesome. Were you super emotional afterwards? When you found out you got fourth, I mean, what exactly did you feel?
I actually recorded my reaction, and I think you can really see how I was feeling, especially because they do it they start 6th place and then they go up. So it's just a lot of anxiety. But right when we placed fourth, my phone just fell. I was just screaming, and I was just so excited for us. Yeah.
That's awesome. Jahayra, what about for you?
The emotions I was feeling before the competition was obviously I was very nervous, just not knowing, and in the warm-up room, just being able to see those other teams that we're going up against is obviously nerve-wracking, but it's obviously we did really well in that warm-up team room, and especially with other teams looking at us while we were taking that floor, really felt good and was really a confident boost. I felt it was just so surreal to be up on stage and just give it my all. Leaving everything on the mat very much means a lot to me. So being able to perform and just ending off the season great with 4th place was just amazing.
What were your roles in the event? Just talk to me about your performance and exactly what you were able to perform on the mat.
So I got to use a sign. So I really like doing the sign because you get to move around the mat. You get to really engage with the crowd, especially because we're right in the front. I was trying to do a lot of filler words, so that there was not liked space and that people could engage with us. And I really felt I also just gave my all in the mat. You get to just kind of just jump around, be really energetic. So I really
and it played to your strength.
Yes.
That's what it seems like right now talking to you. Jahayra, what about for you?
So for most of the routines, I was a flyer. So whether I was with palms or whether I was with a sign, me and Jazz were both also omitting a tippy top, which is a pyramid that consists of 2 girls underneath, then 2 girls on those shoulders, and then 1 on the tippy top of all those girls. So just being able to hit those stunts and like succeed in our roles was just very meaningful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I like how you use the phrase tippy top. Is that a technical
Yep.
term?
Yeah, it's in there. Yep.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Do you girls even like football? Please say yes.
I never watch football.
Oh my gosh. Okay. But you
I
can lead a
watched the Super
football
Bowl.
chair.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Good answer.
We do football scenarios. It's, they don't need to know, but we sit down and go, okay, here's all the scenarios they're going to read it. What does it mean when there's an interception? What do you do? How do you respond? So they know football. Yeah.
Good.
Or at least
Good.
the scenarios.
That's awesome. That's good. Rayna, when you kind of think about the performance, you talked a little bit about that, but your last competition, right, at Fresno Pacific, what are some memories that might flood your mind, or what did you love about your time doing that job?
Yeah, I'm super grateful for my time. I have loved it. Obviously, competing is a highlight every year. It's just super fun to see that hard work pay off and the girls just shine on the mat, and be able to have that culminating moment. But we've had a ton of fun memories along the way. We travel for camp over the summer and go to Las Vegas. That has been a highlight the past few years. Lots of memories there. But really, I think just like the biggest thing that sticks with me is the athletes. Like, I just have had incredible girls to be able to coach and just pour into and get to know. And I truly feel like, this team especially, but a lot of the teams have just been really fun, and they're hilarious. And so there's never a boring day. Even when we had 6 a.m. practice this year, they would show up and just laugh and support each other and do their, a little bit of complaining about 6 a.m., but never they wouldn't know, because they're happy to be there. They're hardworking. They're fun. So they really are just a joy to be around and to coach.
It's always about the people,
Yes,
right? The
for
people
sure.
that you work with.
Yeah, for sure.
Jazz, what are some of your favorite memories cheerleading at FPU?
Over the years, I think what was my favorite part is just getting to know the different teams every year. Every year it comes in a little bit differently. You got to get adjusted to the other team members. Sometimes, like the freshmen, we had a lot of freshmen this year. There was not that many returning. Well, yeah. So also too, I think just one of my favorite memories is just like getting to know Rayna so much, and especially Rayna doesn't just care about like us as athletes, but she's also helps me through like personal issues or like school issues. If I ever have like a conflict with a professor, she's always been there to support me. And yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Jahayra, what about for you?
My favorite memory would probably have to be last year competition, placing 3rd at nationals was so great and amazing, especially being a freshman and coming into a new team. I did join late into the team, and Rayna was actually not looking for a flyer, but I had messaged her and she took my tryout in, and I did make it into the FPU Cheer team, and I did get to go to Las Vegas with them, knowing them for about 2 weeks. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking, but just being able to see how much Rayna cares about us and how just she's able to understand us and communicate with us in every aspect.
I know I didn't prep you girls with this question, but this just popped into my mind. So what is the biggest difference? So let's say there's girls out there listening, they're like, hey, I can be a cheerleader at Fresno Pacific, but what's the biggest difference between cheerleading in high school, being on the cheer team in high school, to being on it at the collegiate level?
I think it's definitely more time. You never realize like how much time practice takes, and then especially being a college student, you have to be full time. That's like about like 4 or 5 classes, so it's a big time commitment. So I think it's just something you have to get used to, like your schedule. Sometimes like I have 13-hour days. I get to school at 8, then I have practice. I'm not leaving until 9. I won't get home till 9:30. So I think it's just like a really big commitment you have to make, especially because for me, I have work, I have school, and I have cheer. So that's just a lot of things to have on your plate. And I think sometimes people can forget that you can only wear so many hats. So you have to really get accustomed to your schedule.
And you did it in 3 years.
Yes.
I'm still stunned by that. That is
Thank
absolutely amazing. Jahayra, what about for you?
I also agree on that aspect. I did have to quit my job my freshman year due to just commitment wise. It was too much for me to commute and do work and everything. So this year I did get an on-campus job, which really helped me a lot. And just, it's a lot. Like, I won't say like it's easy, but it's definitely possible to do it if you really love the sport. I know that cheer isn't something that is easy to give up for me. I don't see myself just not cheering, just because it's been such a big part and aspect of my life that I know that I will be willing to give that commitment if I really love the sport.
Less drama too, right? Right? Is that something that's right? Way less drama.
Yeah, like
than high
especially
school.
in high school, I feel like there's so many girls, so much like talk. But yeah, at the collegiate level, we really try to make our environment really positive and uplifting.
Awesome. Rayna, let's talk about the history of cheer at Fresno Pacific University. Like, do you know when it started? Like, 'cause when I graduated in '94, there were no
Yeah,
cheerleaders.
Yes.
Do you know the history?
Yeah, so I don't know the exact year that it started. I probably should know that, but I don't. But yeah, I know when it started pretty small, and it started, just on campus, kind of coming out of the, student life office, functioning more as a club, and did that for, a handful of years. And yeah, I'm not quite sure how long. And then, yeah, I know it continued to kind of grow from there and, get more girls and things like that. And then served, and functioned that way. They would cheer at games, served kind of as that club function. And then, yeah, in 2020 is when they made the move to put cheer under athletics, which was really exciting and just really good momentum for the sport. Awesome recognition for the girls who had already been on the team and given their time. And then that's when I was able to come in and take it over too. So yeah, 2020 is when that adjustment happened. And then, we're able to compete and things like that.
Got it. So were you were on campus already, or were you still
I
at Fresno
was.
Christian?
So yeah, so I was at Fresno Pacific. So I was a student there, graduated, and then I started working full time in student life after I graduated. So I had been on campus in a full time role, was coaching cheer at Fresno Christian, and then in 2020 when the job opened up, I already was working in student life, was already here. It was, said, pick me, I'm your girl, I love this. And so then that's, kind of how that happened.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Seems like an easy
Yeah,
transition
yeah.
for you. We got a couple more minutes with you guys. What do you think, Rayna, though, the biggest misconception about cheer is? Like, people probably are listening right now, like, oh, you're just going to basketball games and doing a few cheers and doing a couple tumbles and that's it. But it's
Yeah.
way more than that, right?
For sure. Yeah, I think so. I think, it's easy to pick on cheer or say what you want. And I think, the biggest misconception is just because you don't know, right? I think when you get to know a cheerleader, when you pay attention, there's a lot of athleticism. And I think that's the thing that's probably missed the most is that, there's not that athleticism behind it. But these girls are athletes. They work hard, they lift, they train. It's a lot easier. People think you could get out there and hold some pom-poms, but we've had actually in past years, we haven't done it in a while, we've opened our practice and done, bring a friend to practice and had, boys, athletes from the school or different people from the school come, join our practice. And everyone every year is like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. Oh my gosh.
They
this
can't
and
make
that.
it through it, can they?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I just think that athleticism, and just their dedication and how much they love it. And we love cheering on the sideline. Like, that's awesome. It's an awesome part. But we also love, competing in that part that's for ourselves too.
Awesome. Good stuff. We got another minute here. All right. Got about 30 seconds. What did you love about your time at Fresno Pacific, Jazz?
I think especially for cheer, just our stands get packed so much for our sports. It's so great to have so much community be there and help us cheer on our sports, and even the students. Sometimes students come, they may be a little obnoxious, but they're contributing to the game. So
Awesome. Jahayra, what about for you? What do you love about FPU?
About FPU, just in general, I really think the teachers are great, the whole community about it. I love Wednesday worship. It's always amazing and such a good time to get together as a school and build community, be able to let go of our stresses and just relief, and being able to join community and pray together and worship together is always just amazing.
Hear, hear. Good stuff. As we love hearing about the not only the academic life, but the athletic life as well. So thank you, girls, for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
My wife and I don't need
Absolutely.
advice
All right,
on
we're
how to
gonna take
create
a
wealth.
break right
We
now.
need
We're gonna
advice
hear
on
more
how
about
we
the cheer
seek to make the
program
most
at
of it.
Fresno Pacific University on the Sunbird Sports Show on 790 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Sunbird Sports Show on 790 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Sunbird Sports Show on 790 ESPN. I want to remind you guys, you can go back to any past episodes and listen to them on Apple, Spotify, YouTube as well. We're actually not on YouTube tonight, so just go back to Spotify and Apple and leave a review. I don't think I've really, I don't know. It always bugged me a little bit when people say leave a review on Apple or Spotify, but you guys can. It's the first time I think I've ever mentioned this. So go ahead and leave a review. That really helps us out. All right, we got Devin Balbach on the show right now, the new director of cheer and dance at FPU. Spent 12 years at Clovis North. We're going to get into some of those days as well. So welcome to the show. On February 21st, right, you were named, officially announced as director of cheer and dance at FPU and took over on March 2nd. Right, so you've only been on, quote unquote, on the job for a couple of days. So just kind of explain just a little bit about what you're going through, thrown into the fire already, but just kind of explain your feelings about taking over the program and what you've been able to do the last couple of days.
Yeah, well, I'm really excited about the opportunity. This is, kind of like a dream job for me. So I couldn't be more thrilled to be taking over the program. And, as far as only being a couple days on the job, everyone at FPU has just been so welcoming, so inviting, helpful, nice. It's just been a great experience. And so I'm just really looking forward to, kind of digging in more, so to speak, and meeting more people, getting to meet the athletes, the whole team soon. But yeah, so far it's been a great experience.
Did you get your Fresno Pacific email address yet?
I did. Yeah, I do have an email now.
That's awesome. That's a big step right there. So you mentioned you meeting the girls a little bit. I guess their season just ended with that competition that we talked about at the Anaheim Convention Center where they placed fourth. What does the rest of the year look like for you? Just getting to know the girls, meeting one-on-one, trying to figure out next year?
Yeah, I'd like to meet with all the existing athletes, the returners, one-on-one, kind of get some opportunities to find within their schedule to start working on skills with them, stunting, just practicing here and there, working on some open gyms as we lead up to tryouts, and also just kind of start recruiting for next year.
Do you have the one-on-ones? You're just sitting across from them talking about, well, what is your job? What do you like about this year? What do you want to do for the future? Is that what that looks like?
Yeah, I already sent out actually a Google form to all the returners, kind of asking them, I want to know, what school did you go to? What year are you in school? What's your major? What's your stunt position? How can I show up for you as a coach? What makes you feel supported? What are you hoping for to get out of this next season? And just kind of getting a temperature gauge on how they feel on some of, my goals and my hopes and dreams for the future of the program.
All right, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What are your goals and dreams, and is it taking it to the next level? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I think it's taking it to the next level in the sense that FPU is currently competing in two divisions at the competitive level that are referred to as game day divisions. And so, just like track and swim have different meets essentially for cheerleading, there's different divisions you can choose to compete in. So what I'm hoping to do with FPU Cheer is take them to what's referred to as a traditional division. And so the game day divisions, there is a heavy focus on the crowd leading aspect, the showmanship aspect, kind of really engaging the crowd and being, for lack of a better word, a cheerleader. But the traditional routines, while they have a showmanship and a crowd leading aspect, the score sheet is more heavily focused on skills. So it's going to be a skills focus, really working on higher level stunting, higher level tumbling, working with the athletes that we have to, whatever skill level they're at, whether they're fully developed skill wise with a strong skill set, or maybe they're brand new to cheerleading, kind of get to a point where we are all growing and learning together and improving year after year.
Okay, so I'm learning new things tonight about the sport. So I didn't even know this, but how they were explaining it to me at the competition, they were in charge of leading for football.
Right.
Right? Even though there's no football program at Fresno Pacific. and basketball. What might be the other sports that they would cheer for, like in that style of competition?
Those are kind of the main
Okay.
ones for the game day
Game day,
divisions.
okay.
Yeah, it's called game day. So the one that's more focused towards football, that one's called situational sideline, and the announcers will actually call out a football game, situation, and you have to call the appropriate cheer, and it's really fun.
So you got to think on your feet.
Think on your feet. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, so what you are hoping to do, move the program forward, is to more of a traditional where it's all choreographed. Is that a good way to look at it?
Yeah. Choreographed, it's a 2-minute and 30-second long routine. Only 45 seconds of that traditionally will be a crowd leading cheerleading aspect of it with signs and props where you're engaging the crowd. And then the other minute and 45 seconds will be just with music focused heavily on skills.
Awesome. Describe the intensity about cheerleading events. I didn't ask the other group again about, like, there's no smack talking or anything, or you can just kind of side-eyeing girls, just kind of paint a visual of what that might even look like.
Yeah, I would say competition season in general is very intense. I would say cheerleading is a highly mental sport, especially if you start working on higher level stunting and tumbling skills. It requires a lot of trust in your teammates and a lot of trust in your body, because if you hesitate or you bail on your skills, you could get hurt. So it's definitely a very mental sport. What's really unique about competition day, we are practicing for perfection, and kind of the big bulk of the job is done by the competition day, and you're just there to coach them through nerves and fears and find that confidence, and you hope for the best, and just send them out there for the 2 minutes to hope it works.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, I've seen the competitions on ESPN, and now, all right, I got a better picture painted in my mind of what that might look like. So let's go back a little bit to your Clovis North days, or maybe even before that. So when did you personally first get involved in cheer? Like, are you a Clovis Unified person straight through and through? What did that look like for you growing up?
Yeah, I started doing school cheer when I was in 6th grade. I actually didn't really have any interest to do it at first. My friend kind of drugged me to tryouts with her, and then I did it, and I kind of realized that this was something I loved.
In Clovis? Sorry.
In Clovis, yeah.
Clovis, okay.
Elementary school was Maple Creek Elementary, and then so I did it there. I did it at Kasner was my middle school, did it school cheer there, and then in high school I jumped into all-star cheerleading. So basically club sports, but for cheerleading. And so my gym was Fusion All-Stars. I was there until I aged out of All-Stars. And then as soon as I aged out of All-Stars, I jumped right into coaching All-Stars. And then the opportunity at North just kind of happened because the team was in need of a coach. People knew I was a coach, and I interviewed for the position. I got it, and then the rest is history. I stayed there for 12 years.
It's a long time at
Yeah.
Clovis Unified.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I actually did not write down all these awards, but you won tons of awards. What were some of the cool accomplishments that you were able to do at Clovis North?
Yeah, in 12 years there, we had 6 Central Section championships and 4 national championships. In the years we didn't have a national championship, I want to say we medaled in 4 of those years.
Where were the national championships at?
Anaheim.
In that same convention center?
Same convention center the same weekend. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, same as Collegiate Nationals.
Like literally national championships, so schools from all over the nation.
Yeah.
And you guys were number 1.
Yeah.
For 4 years.
Yep.
How cool was that?
It's a top tier experience as a coach, and for the athletes, that's the dream. That's what they work towards. That's what they want, and it's not something any athlete gets to experience even once. But some of those athletes, 2019 and 2020 were back-to-back years for North. So some of those athletes got to experience that twice, and that's just the dream for them. So
how many members? Like you were Granite Ridge all the way up to high school, right? So how many at a time were on the team? Were you coaching?
Yeah, so I was the coach of the varsity competition cheer team. So that number would fluctuate slightly from year to year. Last year I had 23 members on the team. But the last 4 years I was also the director of the cheer and dance program for both Granite Ridge and Clovis North, and we had 160 members in the program.
Oh my gosh. How did you manage all that? Very carefully? Is that
very carefully. It was hard in the sense that I put a lot of myself into my work, and for the athletes and the other coaches, I want to be always present for them and show up for them a lot. So sometimes that looked like answering emails late, answering texts late, having a conversation with an athlete in my office whenever they needed to talk, or a late night phone call if they had something going on. So just, took a lot of giving up, my time to be there for them, because it's a lot of humans, but I was so blessed to do it. And, it was just such a privilege.
What was your favorite, basketball or football, to cover?
Football.
Why football?
There is just something really special.
It's outside, though.
Yeah, it is outside, and there's games where it's incredibly hot and games where you are frozen to the bone. But it's just a special experience. Those Friday night lights that you just kind of you only get there, and it's just special.
It is special, right? Everything leads up to Friday night lights.
Yeah.
Right? You're the athletes, the school, homecoming, and all that stuff. What's the biggest transition you think for you going from high school to Fresno Pacific?
I would say the biggest transition is actually like being able to recruit. I think that's for me going to be a pleasant change. At the high school level, we always had athletes that wanted to come to North for cheerleading, but, it was a little bit harder with CIF regulations and, athletes having to sit out for a year. And so just being able to have the freedom that if, athletes want to come cheer for FPU or come be coached by me, that they, can come and we can build something and work together.
All right. So how are you, as the recruiting going to go? So I looked at the roster from last year. We just heard from, a girl from Sanger and a girl from Madera. Like, are you recruiting in the Valley? Do you know, obviously with your connections, are you saying, hey, do you got a couple girls you can send us? What does that even look like for you?
Yeah, I do have obviously great relationships with all, the Clovis Unified coaches, of course, and a lot of other coaches here in the Central Valley. But I am, Central Valley born and raised. I would love to get a ton of these Central Valley athletes. We have an incredible cheer community here in the Central Valley, just full of talented cheerleaders. So I would love to capture some of that, but also I'm open to, anyone and everyone. Anyone who's passionate, coachable, committed, wants to work hard, wants to be a part of, changing, what FPU cheer looks like and building onto something new. I'm excited for that. I'm willing to talk to anybody who's interested in being a part of that.
Do you feel like when you're out there recruiting, let's say you're talking with a recruit or emailing or texting or whatever, what are some things that you want to hear from the potential student athlete, right? What are some things like, hey, I'm willing to work hard, or I love, I'd love the opportunity to cheer at a higher level. What do you really want to hear and what are you interested in?
I think ultimately I'm eager to work with athletes that want to grow and that are willing to learn regardless of the level that they're at, and are willing to put in work and just work harder than the version of themselves that showed up yesterday, and to be committed. I mean, cheerleading is a very unique sport where there is no bench, right? And so if one person doesn't show up to practice, it can really affect what we're able to accomplish that day. And so if you're committed, if you're passionate, if you want to work hard, those are everything I'm wanting to hear from a recruit.
That's good. Good stuff. I asked Rayna this same question, but what for you? What are some misconceptions that you felt like you've had to fight all these years, or something that the general public doesn't understand about cheer and dance?
I think the main thing would be the difference between sideline cheerleading and competitive cheerleading. And, that's because most people haven't attended a cheer competition. So their perception of what cheerleading is what they see when they are attending another sporting event. They see what's happening on the sidelines. So I think the more people that are exposed to cheerleading, competitive cheerleading, I would say, start to realize the athletic ability that it takes to do those kinds of skills and to do that routine. And so I think it's all about exposure, education. It has been cheer has been a sport under CIF since 2017. So we're getting there. Exposure is out there. People are starting to get it, but it's always going to be something that we'll just keep fighting for.
And we're hoping this show brings a lot of good stuff out there. People are listening, have a different opinion of it. Scariest thing that you've ever seen in a competition? What maybe the scariest move or whatever that you've ever implemented into a program? Maybe that's not the right word. Scariest, or how about like most most difficult?
I would say so. This last year at Clovis North, we had traditionally been attending the Anaheim Nationals, which is typically more West Coast teams in the surrounding states. I kind of wanted to push them more, take on a new challenge, and so I took the team to the Nationals that's in Orlando. It's a little bit more competitive in the sense that there are teams quite literally from all over, and some of the highest level of competing teams. And it's 3 days of competition. Most teams, their first couple years, they won't make it out of the first round. So at Clovis North, we were able to make it out of the first round to semifinals, and we placed top 15 in the nation there just the first year. So that was a huge, scary jump for me as a coach, and coaching the athletes out of a lot of trepidation, so to speak, and they did great, and I'm just so proud of how the season ended.
That's awesome. All right, let's do the wave, because we're going to bring everybody in here right now, because we got some questions. I think Zach is going to take over right now. Let's see if they can see it. Come on in, and you guys are going to share the microphones. All right, we got some last minute questions for everybody. We got Zach, and we're going to be able to hear through the speakers here. You guys can just lean in on the microphones. All right, my guy Zach, take over. Here we go.
Okay, so I got a few questions that we've gathered from some athletes and students. So for Coach Balbach, do you have any hobbies outside of cheer that are near and dear to you?
I love attending concerts. I love music, so I love all kinds of music. So if there's like a show or a concert or anywhere in town, or even if someone doesn't have someone to go with them to this certain artist that they really want to go see, I'm going to be down. So that's me. I love going to concerts.
Thank you. For Coach Rayna, is there any one catchphrase or mantra that you're known for saying?
Ooh, I don't know. Oh, the girls are all telling me that I say one more time too many times. I think that's every cheer coach though. So come on, you can't get me too hard for that one.
Thank you. And then for Jaslin, there's plenty of moments that you've had at FPU, but can you pick one memory that's your favorite from your time at FPU?
I would say my freshman year, I actually dislocated my elbow at cheer practice, and Rayna went with me into the emergency vehicle, and it was just like a funny moment that I forgot about, because they had to tie my arm up so it could stay up because it was dislocated. But yeah,
No trauma.
Thank you. And then lastly, for Jahayra, if you weren't doing cheer, what other sport would you pick up at FPU?
I do have a background in dance and stunt, so I would probably be doing both dance and stunt.
Cool. Thank you, guys. So then what's next for the Sunbirds? Tomorrow, Stunt begins a series of road competitions at the Warrior Classic with a match against number 11 Vanguard, followed Friday by matches against D1 Cal Poly and number 25 Northwest Nazarene University, and concluding Saturday with matches against number 4 Concordia Irvine and host number 2 Jessup. Also tomorrow, women's tennis hosts Weber State at 2 p.m. at the Hank Tennis Complex. Men's tennis will also host exhibitions against American River Friday at 2 p.m. and against Bakersfield Saturday at 10 a.m. They will also resume Pac West play Tuesday in La Miranda against Biola. Friday brings on a lot of road action for some other Sunbird programs, though track and field will compete in Turlock at the Kim Dust Invitational, which will continue on Saturday. Baseball plays a doubleheader at Westmont with another doubleheader on Saturday as well, and women's water polo will copy baseball schedule in the Convergence Tournament. Friday, they play games against Whitler and D1 La Salle, and close with another doubleheader Saturday against D1's Villanova and number 14 Princeton. The highlight of this week is undoubtedly men's basketball. As mentioned at the start of the show, they have qualified for the 2026 Pac West Basketball Championship, which will be hosted by Point Loma. The Birds will play 6th seed Concordia Irvine on Thursday at 12 p.m., and with a win, a date with the 2nd seed Westmont on Friday, also at 12:30 p.m. One more win, there will bring a championship match Saturday at 2 p.m. So best of luck to the Sunbirds in San Diego tomorrow. Thanks, Paul.
All right, good job there, Zach. That is a wrap for today's episode. Thanks to Jazz and Jahayra and Rayna and Devin for coming in and telling us about Fresno Pacific University cheer and dance. Thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you so much
All
for
right,
having us.
that is a wrap, and that's it. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of the week, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.